And we're recording. All right, let's read the case. This is just the case study.
Yeah. After so many people contemplated Lacey's orange marmalade, she decided to start a new business called Lacey's Marmalades and Jellies to better manufacture and market her goods and services. She first began marketing her products at the local craft fairs and farmers market. She then began offering through mail order. At this juncture, Lacey's engaged in strategic implementation. In this scenario, you will assist Lacey in the creation of the company's vision, mission, and short and long-term strategy goals and plans. You should develop each of these based upon the information presented. You can have liberty with some of the details in order to accomplish the task. In addition, you should provide Lacey with a way to maintain records of the additional capital assets. Please review the objectives of the case study for additional information. You will present your plan to Lacey and her business partners. Competitors must address the following presentation: define the industry characteristics, major competitors, and market segment. Examine federal, state, and local current events to determine their impact on the organization. Evaluate the types of businesses, ownership/organization structure, and understand the advantages and disadvantages of each. Create a company vision, mission, and short and long-term strategic goals and plans. Identify and maintain records of the initial capital assets, current assets, investments, property, plant, and equipment, and intangible assets. And you need to address the following questions in a 7-minute presentation. Why do you need to have a retail shop? What type of information do you still need from us? And how important is it to develop the maintenance system for our financial records?
All right. So
let's get started. Questions. So
those are the main questions.
Sue's opening up a retail shop.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So she has a jelly thing, and she's opening a retail store to sell her jelly.
So our main question that we're answering is why she needs to open a retail shop.
Yeah.
Retail center. Okay.
So I think it's clear that there's like a demand for her stuff, her jellies. So like by having a consistent place people can go to get it, than having to go on a weekly basis to maybe see her at one place or maybe see her another place. So I think just the consistency, that's probably what's nice about it. It's like you can go to this brick and mortar store any day of the week at any time that she's open, and she'll have her jelly.
It's also like a good marketing thing because like people like that local homemade stuff.
So pros. Or wait, why she should open, right?
Yeah. She'll have a brick and mortar store.
Obviously.
No, but like the pro is that she's consistently in one spot always.
Have a store.
Oh, my suit.
One spot. It helps with marketing. Well, one is that it helps with marketing.
Because she can then advertise her store instead of having to change where she's going to be.
Can advertise. Set store.
What are they saying though when they say what type of information you still need from us?
Like something to like open, maybe?
Oh, like what information
what are we trying to do?
I think it's like what information do we still need to like make the business plan even better?
Oh. So like location, stuff like that, demographic.
Yeah, because like that kind of like if she's in like a rural area versus maybe she's in the middle of a city. Like we don't really know. Like telling her where to put her store, how to market it is different based on. So I think put down too that we need to know to like better give her assistance. We need to know like where this is. The demographic of the people.
Conduct market research.
Right.
So that should be like our main thing. Mm-hmm. One of our main things.
Yeah.
This should be one of our main things.
Yeah. So we need a vision of the company's short and long-term goals. So I think short-term.
Well, short-term, she needs to focus on the business plan, creating a good business plan, getting the initial funds to.
Right. And long term would be being able to more mass produce her jelly, because I bet that at the moment she's probably not, like she's only making orange marmalade, so she needs to expand.
Business plan.
She needs to expand.
Yeah.
Focus on business plan. Funds to open up store.
Right. That's real cool.
Long term. Focus on maybe expanding stores. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Expanding stores. Creating new products.
Obviously, she has like, she's not just like opening up randomly. Like she began offering mail orders. She's done craft fairs and farmers markets. So like she already has a market.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have to worry too much about finding people.
But like, is it like a sustainable market, or is it more like a hobby thing?
Yeah. Short and long-term strategy. Based upon the information presented. Where to maintain records of initial capital assets. Oh, we need to provide Lacey a way to maintain records of the initial capital assets. Please review, blah, blah, blah.
Well, so her initial capital is just going to be all the money that she's made off of her sales at the craft fair and mail orders.
Yeah. And like, it's mainly just to maintain records, so you just need to
Right.
come up with a system to be able to get stuff
So
booked.
What should we say for our system?
So the system should be probably a spreadsheet where she can list out like the person's name, what they ordered, the price of how much they
So
ordered.
Excel, Microsoft.
Yeah, like an Excel spreadsheet.
Here, I'm gonna give you more paper.
Okay. On the industry characteristics, major competitors.
Yeah, so that's, I feel like that would go into the information we need, because it's hard to tell if there's, like if she's in like a rural area where they grow a bunch of strawberries and oranges, I bet you there's more competitors, but that's one of the things we don't really know.
Yeah.
Like we have literally no idea where she's opening this, so.
Federal, state, and local current events.
Once-
So, like,
Am I missing
tax
something?
on
Like,
her
are they
stuff?
telling us where this is?
Like, what do you mean?
Like when they say federal, local, and like local current events, how do you know that if they don't tell you where it is?
We just have to assume it's. I don't know. She first began marketing her products at the local craft fairs and farmers market, or what am I? Lacey's marmalades and jellies. So if she's like, obviously, if she's like making it from scratch from her own stuff, she doesn't have to worry about getting taxed. But if she's like ordering in like the fruits to make the jellies,
Right. But that'll go along with that. That's part of her long-term goal. That's part of her investments. Is
yeah, she has to take tax into it.
Yeah.
Evaluate the types of business/ownership organization structure, or business ownership/organization structure, and understand the advantages and disadvantages of each. We have 12 minutes left. Yeah. Because we could just use the timer.
Too.
We could also use the timer on the recording.
So I think we need to list out the questions that we still have. Like what information do we still need? I think we should put that just clear. Like,
Well, we could talk about like that in our market research. So like,
Yeah.
we
so
need to
that's part of
conduct-
that.
Yeah.
Then I think like why we need to have a retail shop. We kind of answer that, and then we also important to develop a system for. We'll get into that too, and then we can also throw in while we're talking about why it's important to have a retail shop. We can talk about the like financial piece of it, like her short-term goal, her long-term goal.
We have to also identify and maintain records of investments, property, plant, and
That goes
equipment.
along with the
Oh, that's all the assets, yeah. We have to also create a vision or a mission. So, like, what's her
the
vision?
mission. The vision is to expand. The vision is to continue to grow until, like, you can have multiple products being sold instead of just you're not just
Yeah.
one product.
Well, and also she's very like mom and pop. Maybe she should try to expand to more like
Mhm.
big box stores like Target,
Yeah.
Walmart. That could be a long-term goal too.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
I just feel like there's so much missing. It's really hard to make
Yeah.
a business plan when there's literally no information.
Ah, we can make it from all this.
We can try.
We just have to be very general.
Yeah.
And we're fine. Like, we can't go too in-depth, and that's what information we need from them is
Yeah.
more in-depth explanation. All that stuff. So we need to. Have we addressed the following, or why do we need to have a retail shop? What type of information do we need from them, and how important is it to develop the maintenance system for our financial?
No, that's what I just said. That's like part
Yeah.
of everything we have basically. So now we just need to list out how we're going to present that.
All right. So first we need to obviously address like the.
I think first we start with the mission statement, or like what our vision is.
Yeah.
I think we start with our vision, then we go
Okay,
to
so intro.
Yeah. So start with our vision.
We should just introduce the whole.
Yeah. We introduce ourselves. We introduce the question at hand, like, and then we start going into the
ourselves,
vision.
who we are.
Yeah.
And we're
Then we talk about like
talk
give a
about the
brief,
store.
Yeah, give a brief description of the store.
And then sells jelly. Very smaller business model. No. Should we talk about like, I don't know if like, you know how it said like personal events, like you know how they said like current events?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should we talk about how like maybe during now, like in terms of one of our cons, that like opening up one of these
Yeah,
stores.
that's a good idea actually.
Opening during a pandemic.
And
Yeah.
opening during a pandemic, obviously. That's like later though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. So I think we start with, so then talk about the vision, like our vision.
Yeah, with the opening during a pandemic, we could say like she should stick to and like maintain to more mail orders
Yeah,
and
the
like
mail orders and focus on
online.
her e-commerce business.
Vision
because in person's just not
Mhm.
gonna pop off.
we have for what's her name?
Lacey.
Lacey.
So I think our vision, just to be clear, our vision is long-term expansion
Long-term expansion.
into like more products.
Well, we have to talk about, obviously we want her to open up a store.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. So long-term expansion.
Opening multiple stores.
Starting with one.
No, but that's not the long term. That'd be opening the store is short term.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so long-term.
So long term is the development of her products, so she can have
Development.
more jams and jellies.
Yeah. Also, we have to remember this is just the start of the business that we're helping her with,
Yeah.
because it says we're assisting her in the creation.
No,
of the
but
vision,
they
mission,
wanted our
strategy goals.
they want
yeah.
also the long term, and I feel like that should be our
Yeah,
vision.
and the strategy goals and
We
plans.
have 7 minutes to figure this out.
So like the main strategy goal, first thing first, get a retail store.
Right.
Yeah, so that's long. We're talking about long-term now, and then
Because
we're
our
going to talk
vision
about
is
short-term.
long term.
Yeah.
Our vision is long term.
That's
We
true.
don't just want to be
For
short.
the long-term, we want to develop more products and
Right. And expand into different markets such as e-commerce and developing a product that could be sustainable in a place like Target or Walmart.
different markets. Create products. Different markets. Target.
Okay, so then next, so after the intro, so
Then
now,
should we talk about short-term at the end?
We should
Like
talk
that.
about
That's our
short-term now.
long-term.
but
then
that's our
obvi-
vision, so we can go back to the short term.
Yeah, but then at the end we could say, oh, but like right now,
Because short term could interweave with the opening of our store.
like I
Yeah.
feel like we should mention the opening. Like in our intro, we should mention the opening of the store. Like, oh, but like right now we need to focus more on
Yeah.
opening the
Yeah,
the store.
that's true.
That's the main focus. Yeah,
Well, at
main
the end,
focus is all
So like
the-
we could talk about our long term in the intro, but then at the end, talk about our short. Because then we could kind of be like, oh, this is how we're gonna open the store and focus on now.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
the short-term goals are like the first things we need
but
to get done.
we could say like, but obviously right now we want to focus more on opening her store.
Yeah.
Our broader
And
vision
expanding.
is the long term expansion, but the short term goal for right now is just opening a store.
The short-term goals being open a retail store, get something to take care of all the manage all the assets, look at all the records
So I think-
financially.
I feel like we should just say open a store, and then next we could get more into detail
Right.
about what.
So
we want.
now I think when you get into detail is you can talk about the lack of information. So I think what we
So like
still
how
need.
how we're gonna open this store.
Right. So how we open the store is now we need to have information on our location,
So we need to do market research.
but explicitly
Yes.
state that we need to know where we are.
Know where we are. Know where consumers are.
Yeah.
We got Cinco Minutos.
Know where consumers are, and what else?
And I think we need to know like the demand. Like
Okay.
if she's actually making money off of this.
Demand of products / margin. Okay, so then
next, so that's
we
how
need to talk about like how she's gonna stay organized.
So
with all of her.
that's what type? No, so that's why do we need a retail shop? So I think we should go into that now. Why we need a retail shop?
Yeah.
And so why we need the retail shop is we need like a base of operations. So a place where she can make the jam and jelly, a place where she can consistently sell the jam and jelly.
Why open store? Need place to store / sell jelly, right?
Mm-hmm. And produce.
Store, sell, produce jelly. Helps with marketing, right? That was one of our main thing.
Because she can market how she's in one spot and not have to market each different week about where she's going to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Market one store.
So and then after that we talk about how the pandemic, how it's a tough time to open.
So that's one of our pros. So this is our pro.
So next, I think we say that a con to opening the store is that it's a tough market right now because of COVID.
Con. Obviously. It's hard to open store.
So then we say that
And sell products.
and sell products. So then we also say that she needs to expand her mail order business. Expand the mail order aspect of it into an.
So that's after, right?
Right. So expand mail order into an e-commerce.
Two more. E-commerce style, right?
Yeah, e-commerce style, with consistent website.
With the Shopify or website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then what else do we need to add?
Records, how to
Yeah.
record stuff.
Okay. So make sure to stay organized.
So she has to have organization of her current assets, her investments, like the price of her property, her plants and equipment,
Current assets /
investments, the property,
investments.
pretty much everything that like she bought, and she needs to be able to manage it.
Yeah, okay. And then make sure to keep tax records.
And the best idea is to use a spreadsheet
Yeah.
for that. Obviously, the cons being that it's kind of
It's a lot to manage.
it's
But
annoying.
Pro, easier to manage.
con, it's also hard to manage all of it.
Con,
It's just like time
hard
consuming.
to manage / time consuming. Okay. We have a minute left. What else do we need to add?
We said what information. So we said these three questions: why do we need to have a retail shop? What information we need, and how important it is to develop. So the other objectives: define the industry characteristics, major competitors. We don't know that
Which
stuff.
we don't know. That's part of that's part of market research and what we need to know from the people.
Examine federal, state, local current events. Also, we need to get that.
Well, we
Well,
know
we talked about
We talked about
the local
current,
events.
yeah. Evaluate the types of business / ownership / organization structure. So it's just going to be her on top, and since it's not that many,
Yes.
like it's not that expensive of a business, have little to few workers to pay,
And the
it's
workers
mainly
that
her.
she would hire would simply be like salespeople or like baggers.
Yeah.
So then
30 seconds.
Yeah, so 30 seconds.
So then how would I add that at the end?
You could put that in as part of like
Just
managing the assets. She
10
can have
seconds.
a worker. No, I don't know actually. Probably don't put that in. You could just
we have
put
the
that could be
vision.
part of the hard part of opening during a pandemic.
Yeah. And
So,
also with the whole
having to
assets
keep
thing.
Having essential workers.
All right, we gotta get
Costs
started.
low.
So let's use this sheet.
So do we just start presenting or what?
Yeah. So
Okay, so it's gonna be what?
we'll go as we go.
Okay, you do the introduction. I'll do the market research part.
Okay.
What do you want to do? Make sure to stay organized.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Josh Kaufman. I'm from Vernon Hills High School.
My name's Joe Zimmerman.
I'm Hunter Nockels, and I'm also from Vernon Hills High School.
So to start, we want to give a brief description of the store. So this is a store that is owned by a woman named Lacey, and she produces marmalade, jellies, and jams, all orange flavored. And currently, she is selling at local fairs as well as local farmers markets, and she also has a successful mail order business at the moment. So our vision that we have for this company is for Lacey to have long-term expansion. So the vision that we have is for the development of more products. And so what we mean by this is we want Lacey to continue developing different types of jellies and jams and not just stick to orange jellies and jams, as this will give her more prospective customers to come and buy her products. Continuing, we definitely want to expand into different markets. So this means that we want to not just be a brick and mortar store. We want to continue with her mail order business model. And so we want to get and strongly get involved in the e-commerce business, as today that is definitely a business that is making the most money. And furthering, we want to create products that can also be sold in different stores, such as Target and Walmart. And that way we can have more access to customers that are not just in our location of our small mom and pop store. But on the other hand, our short-term goal is to open a store, and so we need to open the store first before we can start worrying about expansion.
Obviously, there's many things that Lacey needs to do in order to open up this store. One of the main things that she needs to do is conduct market research, as it's very unclear as to where her consumers are coming from, where she needs to open up this store, what her competitors are, and a lot of other things that are important to know before opening up one of these stores. And obviously, one of the pros of doing all this market research is that obviously you'll know all these things that are very important, and you can further use that in marketing or other things to expand sales. And then one of the cons is that this might be very difficult to conduct, especially in a time like now in COVID, where it's hard to contact people and actually meet up with people and understand where your consumers and other competitors are coming from. And then another thing that we need to do in order for Lacey to open up the store is we need to make sure that she's organized. And one of the ways that we can do this is through the use of Excel spreadsheets and other forms of spreadsheets, maybe Google Sheets and other stuff. And this is very important because it's important to stay necessary, especially with your tax records, to make sure you get those in time, and just all your assets and all your investments and just everything, the amount of inventory you have. It's very important to keep all that under control so you can make sure you have the right amount of money to open up the store in the first place. And then one of the cons is that although this takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of time in order to manage all your assets, but at the end of the day, it's very important to opening up the store.
Yeah, spreadsheets is a very useful way for her to be able to look at all the numbers and for her to be able to budget, because when creating a business, the main thing you need to focus on at the beginning is the finance part. You need to be able to handle your money, and with Lacey, it might be very difficult with her starting up her first retail store. Even though she has been, or we don't know if she has been successful with her mail-in orders or not, I'm just assuming she has had decent success for her to want to open a retail store. And that goes into the part about her being able to manage that store as a whole, such as having to pay workers, pay for the imports for what she has to bring in. And that could be very difficult for her since we don't know the exact cash flow that she's making. But with the assumption of the whole mom and pop scheme that she has going on, we're going to assume that she's not making Walmart money. So her first order of business with that, after getting the retail store, is to get very few workers, especially in a time like COVID where it makes it actually convenient
for her to get fewer workers due to the regulations by the government depending on where she's at. It will be fairly easy for her to just get a few people to work in back or bag something depending on how she wants to go through with the business and the whole scheme of how customers receive their product. But obviously with workers, she doesn't have to focus on that too much in a time like this, because the current events currently are the main factor on what's deciding how she's going to make her money. Because as Josh said, the e-commerce is the best idea to go with, because people won't really be coming in to buy jellies just in a store. They're going to be buying them online.
So also to further on that point is looking at government regulations. And so government regulations now are definitely important when it comes to such things such as lockdowns and essential business orders. So Lacey definitely needs to take into account that her business is not deemed essential because she is selling jellies. So when it comes to hiring employees, at the moment, it's definitely not an essential thing to hire employees based on the government regulations that she wouldn't be considered an essential business. So I guess to conclude, our vision for her business is definitely in the long term, and in the short term, she does need to open her brick and mortar store, but the long term goal is to be a big member of e-commerce and be able to sell her products online, as that is what a lot of consumers are looking for nowadays. So Lacey does need to open her brick and mortar store, but she also needs to focus on the future.
Yeah, and to go off Josh with the whole future part, with e-commerce, depending on where she's at, some people, it's a very good marketing scheme, because some people are very big fans of the small business area, and they, especially now, there's a huge wave to support small businesses, and I believe Lacey could get very good cash flow if she markets it right in the right area.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.